Who knows how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with. That's me.
I am not an African American.
You're Oreo cookie. White in the inside and black on the outside.
I don't have an afro. I have an Amerifro.
Talking that idiotic stuff you talk about, I would slap you.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Black as the ace of spades, but 100% American.
Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being with me. I absolutely appreciate it. Thank you. We're here Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific Time, 9 to noon Eastern Time. Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. We're also streaming live video today and the rest of this month, December. Patrick Rooney will be here in the third hour today, one of the smartest white men on this side of heaven. And Hollywood Update with Kelly. You don't want to miss out on that. There are people in this country who believe that homosexuality is not a mental illness. They believe that it's not a sin. They don't want homosexuals to be counseled in order to overcome the spirit of homosexuality. And it's amazing to me. They have passed laws, at least in the state of California, which will become in effect January 1 of 2013. I have with me Congresswoman Jackie Speier, Democratic Congresswoman from California, 12th Congressional District, San Francisco area there. Congresswoman Speier, Stop Harming Our Kids resolution, which calls on Congress to denounce what is known as reparative therapy. She doesn't want the homosexuals to get help, and I just wanted to really talk to her for a few minutes about that. Congresswoman Speier, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you, Reverend.
Good. You don't believe that homosexuality is a sin. You don't believe that it's a mental illness. You don't believe it's something that the people can overcome. And why is that?
Well, Reverend, first of all, I don't want you putting words into my mouth. But secondly,
do you believe it's a sin?
That homosexuality is a sexual orientation. It is not a mental illness. Every professional organization associated with mental health has indicated as such. The American Psychiatric Association and the American Psychological Association both have opined for more than 40 years that this so-called therapy, conversion therapy or reparative therapy, is quackery. And I think the extent to which people want to access individuals for support is their business.
But I've seen over the last 25 years, I've seen men and women overcome it.
I do not believe that the state should say that something is legal, safe, and effective if it's not. And that's the obligation of the state. So for every profession in the state, whether it's a doctor, a lawyer, a mental health professional, there are scopes of practice. And we define what is within a scope of practice through the legislative process of the state. And anyone who...
Let me ask you this, Congresswoman. There are professional therapists and counselors out there, as well as ministers. I myself have counseled with men and women who are homosexuals, and over the last 25 years, they have managed to overcome it. Why would you want to prevent those people who know and understands that it's a sin and it is something that they can overcome? Why would you want to prevent them from getting help?
Well, first of all, Reverend, it is not a sin. But to the extent you want to believe it's a sin and you want to counsel someone nothing is going to prevent you from doing that. We're only talking about professional persons who are, in fact, licensed by the state of California. Religious organizations are not licensed by the state of California, and therefore anything you want to do in the practice of your religion
you're
is
still
your
wrong.
business. And
you're still wrong in that there are professionals who are licensed
and
counselors who want to help these people overcome. Why would you want to stop them from helping homosexuals overcome?
And your audience should know that there are 24 religious groups that have supported the California law. And there are numerous Jewish, Christian, Muslim organizations that support this law.
But that doesn't mean a thing. You're going to find people who agree and disagree in every area of life, so that doesn't say much. You said that I was putting words in your mouth, but yet you turned right around and said what I said that you were about. Why did you say I was putting words in your mouth?
Well, I think I don't want you telling me what I believe in, since you haven't even met me. Let me say what I believe.
Well, I'm reading the bio on you, and it said exactly what you said, so I was right about what you want. Let me ask, do you believe in God?
Of course I believe in God.
And do you believe that through God all things are possible?
I believe that man is given life through God, and that on this earth we do things that either promote godliness or don't promote godliness.
That's not what I asked. I asked, do you believe that through God all things are possible?
I don't believe that all things are possible.
Oh, okay.
No.
You presented a resolution to Congress recently asking that they not call homosexuality what it is. If you should get this passed, what would you want? What is the purpose of it?
Well, the purpose of the resolution is to draw attention to the states throughout the country that reparative therapy or conversion therapy is not what professionals within the mental health area believe is safe and effective. In fact, it can be very damaging. And so we urge various states throughout the country to do what California has done. And
Amazing.
Furthermore, I have also asked that the Medicaid department and the TRICARE through the military system evaluate whether or not they have provided compensation through taxpayer dollars for either of these types of therapies, because since it is not sanctioned by mental health professional organizations, it should not be compensated for by the taxpayers of this country.
Do you want people who disagree with homosexuality to be punished by saying that it's wrong or that it's a sin or it is a mental illness? Do you want those people to be punished?
I don't want anyone to be punished.
Do you consider it hate speech?
There is such a thing as hate speech.
No, I mean, do you believe those people who, such as myself, who can see that homosexuality is a sin and it's something that people can overcome, would you consider that hate speech?
What you're espousing? No, I don't believe that's hate speech.
And so,
I mean, that's your opinion. You have a right to your opinion.
But if you should get these
if
laws,
you somehow decide that you want to overthrow the country, that kind of speech, is challengeable.
So if you should get this passed, God forbid that you would, and people such as myself say that it is a mental illness, it is a sin that you can overcome, you wouldn't want us to be considered as speaking hate, or you wouldn't want the law to prevent us from, even professionals with license and therapists and counselors, you wouldn't want them to be prevented from speaking their mind about this, right?
You can have your opinions and express them, and that is why this country is so great, because everyone has the right of freedom of expression. But I think you need to understand that what you do as a reverend in terms of counseling someone is not subject to state regulation, but something that someone in a profession that puts themselves out as being a mental health professional, the state does have the right to regulate them and regulate their scope of practice.
That's awful. Just as the people can say that it's not a sin,
and has been for a long time.
I know, but we have to change that, because if a person can say that it's a professional can say that it's not a mental illness, another professional should be allowed to say that it is a mental illness. This is America,
Well,
and
wait
we
a second.
have the freedom of speech.
It has to be evidence based.
But the
So,
people who
if
say
it's
that is
something-
not a
it's
mental
it has to be
illness are homosexual
scientifically proven.
sympathizer. The people
Well,
who say
first
that
of all,
is
let me
not
ask you
is
this,
a
Reverend.
homosexual
If
sympathizer.
someone is offering an elixir that's going to prevent you from having cancer, and is a healthcare professional, and it's bogus, that's fraud, and that should not be allowed to be offered in the marketplace.
That's amazing.
That's what government's about. It is supposed to be safe and effective, and if it is not safe and effective, and it is a professional offering a particular service or good, then it's subject to regulation by the state.
Congresswoman Jackie Speier, thanks so much for being on with us.
My
I appreciate
pleasure.
it. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Back in a moment, 888-77-JESSE.